Hey everybody, hope you guys are doing well. We will get started here in a couple of minutes as some more people come on in. Everybody excited about Halloween today? Well, later this week.
Yeah, I got my pumpkins carved, or my first one.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think I saw that in our Discord.
Yeah, I did a Babu. It was
Oh,
my
nice.
first NFT pumpkin.
I see Chris here has a little pumpkin PFP. All right. I think we've got a good group in here. All right, guys, we are going to get started with our community-wide space here. It is the Stargaze third anniversary. So happy birthday to the chain. And we are also celebrating Halloween this week. This is going to be our third year doing Halloween. We just had our big Halloween mint last week. I know many people participated. A lot of those projects are sold out. We're also celebrating Marketplace V2 launching, where you can now list and trade in different tokens. It is also Diwali on Halloween, so happy festival light to everyone there. There is a Halloween community event in Discord for Stargaze going on right now. You pretty much will gift the person above you in the thread. Join the Stargaze Discord and click down below to see the haunted chat or the trick-or-treat chat. With that, let's go ahead and get started with the space here. Stargaze's third anniversary. We've achieved a lot over the last 3 years. We've had a bunch of different dApps that have launched. Launchpad, Marketplace, Names, Infinity, Stardex, also Interchain NFTs, part of the DAO network. There have been over 132,000 total users on Stargaze. Some other quick stats: we've had 1.5 billion stars in marketplace volume. That's about $32 million, and over 550,000 NFT sales. On the mint side of things, there are over 12 million in mint volume and over $2.7 million in mints. So through that, Stargaze has pretty much become the de facto NFT marketplace in the cosmos. Some big projects that happened over the last year. As you guys all know, I see some in here. There's some slots. Of course, the mad scientists with Interchain NFTs. We also did a partnership with the Union, where they'll be helping us bridge Ethereum NFTs. And we also had a very large free mint from Ellis that brought over a lot of users. Shane, do you have anything you want to tell us about 3 years of Stargaze? Maybe how it started and where it's going.
Hey guys, happy third birthday to everybody here, and especially the people who have been here from day one. I know there's several people in this chat who's been with us for the entire kind of crazy ride. So yeah, I'm happy to maybe share some stories from the early days. Some of you who have been around probably have already kind of heard this story before. And 2021 was kind of a crazy time in the Cosmos ecosystem, right? Before Osmosis launched, IBC and just a lot of the tech stack was just in development, and it's stuff people talked about, but there wasn't really any examples of it working, right? So there was always theoretical talk about what IBC will do, and you'll have all this ecosystem of blockchains, and they'll all communicate with each other, and maybe some people didn't actually believe that would work, right? Because it was just a bunch of hype. And then Osmosis launched and actually proved that this stuff actually works. So Kepler was kind of the first wallet that kind of made IBC work. And Stars was one of the first assets that was listed on Osmosis. I think it may have been either the 4th or the 5th or something like that. And when the chain launched, there wasn't anything on the chain yet. That's how kind of things worked in those times. And inflation wasn't turned on. Everything was just really bare bones. And but what it did have is it had stakers, it has validators, it had governance, and then you guys voted to do a large airdrop. And at that time, I believe the airdrop was something like $250 million. It was crazy large airdrop at that time. And I remember the token going all the way up to the market cap was like 800 million, almost a billion, right? Stargaze was almost a unicorn. This was kind of like at the very top of kind of the kind of a big like NFT hype cycle at that time. NFTs were kind of booming on Ethereum as well. And then towards the end of the year, we started just getting a lot of you started flowing into the Discord. The Discord was super active, and we were like, okay, we're going to build an NFT marketplace, especially because we didn't want to like step on Osmosis's toes and build any DeFi stuff at that time. We kind of wanted to find our own niche and kind of build in that.
Most of it also pretty vital to the inception of Stargaze, right? Maybe you could tell us a little bit about the LBP for people who may not remember.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way Stargaze was launched is that when you're launching a blockchain, you have a bit of a cold start problem because you got to get some liquidity for the token, right? And then there has to be some kind of price discovery for the token. So these all kind of work different ways. These days, a lot of things is kind of centralized. Teams kind of work with like a centralized exchange, and then they got to figure out the price. I'm not really sure how that how that happens. That's why recently we've had all this like issues with like high FDV tokens where the exchange might like price it too high, and only maybe like the early insiders kind of get to kind of win, and everyone else is kind of like left holding their bags, which is not like an ideal model. The way Stargaze did it at that time, Cosmos assets weren't supported really at that time by like any exchange. There was only Atom that was like supported by a few. So we didn't really have a choice. So we went with Osmosis, which is a DEX, and we did a liquidity bootstrapping event where basically the way it works is that this is before Stream Swap existed, where you basically have an AMM and you have I think the way we did it, I think it was like what it was like a pool with like I think 90% stars and like 80% Osmo, and we took a loan of Osmo. Osmosis gave us a loan to kind of bootstrap this pool, right? And then there was an event over a period of 3 days where people can kind of like buy off that pool, and then the pool got like normalized to 50-50, and then that is what set the price, the initial kind of like price of the token. And then after that was done, then we were able to pay back the loan to Osmosis in stars. So that's why the Osmosis community pool has a bunch of stars, and the Stargaze community pool has a bunch of Osmo. And that Osmo we have used for like liquidity and various things so far.
Over the last 3 years, what have been like some of the major challenges and ways we overcame those?
Major challenges. Okay, I mean, Stargaze has like there's a very stark major challenge that we had. We had some of we had a co-founder that rugged us for $7 million and went and started another blockchain. That was the kind of biggest challenge that we faced. And we still kind of suffer from the liquidity that was like taken away from the ecosystem. But I mean, besides that, that was the hardest thing by far. Besides that, it's just building fast enough, right? You guys are really demanding, right? Keeping up with all the demands, but also balancing it with what is kind of like viable and what is useful to a majority of users, right? Because, for example, there could be creators are, first of all, like extremely demanding, right? So there might be like a single creator that wants like X and Y, but then it might only be them that wants that, right? So we kind of really have to kind of balance that out with what will be something that's like viable for the future that everyone wants, right? I think also just like uniquely being an app chain, like we were so early to this, right? Like only now you're kind of seeing like app chains or rollups kind of like take off, right? You see this in Ethereum. There's a lot of L2s. There's a ton of rollups, a lot of app specific rollups, right? So Stargaze was like ahead of the times by like 3 years, right? Having like this like app specific chain. And this entire community kind of like was built around these like suite of apps, which is really cool.
And were there any like pleasant surprises that you didn't really anticipate? Like a lot of times builders will build stuff and they really have no idea how the tools they're going to use will be used. Anything pleasantly surprised you about what people were doing?
I think the thing that surprised me most was I remember when we were first getting started, right? And we were looking for Genesis projects, and I was really concerned that we won't find any, right? So I remember like writing this blog post, or kind of like making this call, like asking for Genesis creators and stuff. And then like all of a sudden we got like, I don't remember how many applications we got. I think we got like 700 or so, right?
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a ton.
Yeah, I just got a ton, right? And I think initially we were just going to do like feature like 10 or something, and that like ended up kind of blowing up to like I think it was like 12 or 13. Yeah, so like Bad Kids was like part of the Genesis kind of group, and at that time it was kind of funny because I thought that Stargaze Punks were gonna be like the flagship collection because kind of like pixel art was like a big thing on Ethereum, and like there was this entire kind of like narrative around punk and stuff like that. I think I had a punk at that time too, and but like I remember when I first saw Bad Kids, I was like, I don't know about this one. It's different for sure, but I'm not sure if it's different in like a good way or a bad way. And then I think it took it didn't really take off until like maybe like a year after launch, right? So it was definitely like one of those like kind of like sleeper hits, and you see this sometimes with like bands and music as well, right? Like people may not like discover an album when it first comes out, and then someone discovers it, and then it like blows up, right? I think there were some people that were like super early to Bad Kids. I think like Josh Lee was one of those people from Kepler, and he ended up becoming like a huge whale, and then like giving it out to a lot of people. And I think that like really kind of like helped kickstart it. I see Wolfman in the audience too. He was also kind of a big like proponent, and also has many collections of his own. Yeah, good to see you here, buddy.
Yeah, how has the community changed or grown over the last 3 years? We've had influx of people originally from Cosmos, and then we had Terra, right? And the modular ecosystem has joined, and now with Interchain NFTs, there's even more expansion.
Yeah. I think when we first launched for the airdrop, we had like all kinds of people come in, right? It wasn't just kind of people in Cosmos, but I think what ended up happening is that Stargaze actually brought in a lot of new people into the ecosystem, and we have to be a bit careful when we talk about when we use the term Cosmos, right? This is something I have a bit of a pet peeve about, because to me, Cosmos is a technology stack, right? It's a technology stack that's used to build blockchains. So, for example, Celestia is built with Cosmos Tech. Barachain is built with Cosmos Tech. Initia is built with Cosmos Tech, right? And they like, especially Barachain wouldn't consider themselves part of the Cosmos ecosystem, right? Stargaze now has like, I think it has like, the last time I checked, it has something like 46, 47 apps on it, right? So it definitely has enough apps for it to be its own ecosystem. So I like to consider Stargaze its own ecosystem, right? And because it does use IBC to like transfer assets and stuff like that, it does use Cosmos tech, right? But I guess to answer your question, if you mean that, like, a lot of people who did come to Stargaze also ended up using Osmosis, maybe ended up, I don't know, maybe like, checking out some of the other chains, right? Maybe buying some Akash or whatever and stuff like that. So I think we did bring a lot of new people into this kind of this like ecosystem that's IBC connected, and I think it helped it through the bear market as well, right? To the bear market, a lot of people were playing around with Stargaze NFTs. Some people were like holding their wealth in bad kids, right? There's all kinds of users on Stargaze, right? It's you have some people that are just purely traders, some people that are purely flippers, right? They're just trying to get in early to a mint and like sell it later. Then there's people who like the art, right? There's people more into one-on-ones. There's some people that like, write bots and stuff like that, and they try to like, play around with collection offers and stuff like that. So there's all kinds of users, and that's one thing that's really great about the space. There's also validators and stakers, right? And there's some people that are just like stakers, and they don't care about NFTs at all, and they just care about infrastructure. There's really like maybe a dozen or so different types of stakeholders and kind of users on Stargaze, which is really cool.
Yeah. So now we've had a pretty big update to Stargaze. The most popular app is Marketplace, and there has been a very large update that we soft launched last week with V2. Can you tell us some of the key features and differences?
Yeah. So the main there's a few things. The main thing is being able to denominate in different assets. I know this is something that some of you have wanted for a long time. So, until now, the only way to denominate has been in stars. And the thing is, what happens with that is that then the collection inherits the volatility of stars as well, right? And depending on the creator, this could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. People wanted the optionality of being able to denominate in some other kind of asset, especially, and this really makes sense for this kind of like, IBC connected world where you have many chains and you have collections that are associated with other chains and other ecosystems, right? And that's actually kind of what we want, right? The goal of an NFT collection is to have its own community, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be tied to Stargaze. I think slots is like a perfect example of this, right? So slots are like associated with the modular ecosystem, and the modular ecosystem is full of multiple rollups. You got Celestia, you got Forma, you got Initia, you got like all these other projects, Astria and so forth, and all those kind of like founders and ecosystem people like love their slots, and they've all had to like use Stargaze to get one, but it represents kind of its own kind of unique ecosystem, and that means that we did a great job, right? That's kind of what we want to create. Like the collections don't necessarily have to be like a subset of Stargaze itself. So like the slots, for example, may want to denominate in TIA because TIA is kind of the asset that's, I would say, most closely associated with the modular ecosystem, right? So hypothetically, if the slots kind of decide to go this route, then the floor price and like the trading of slots would happen in TIA instead of stars. Now, this is beneficial to Stargaze as well, right? This is beneficial to Stargaze as well because right now, when every single thing is in stars, it kind of creates this like circular economy where there's like no input of some other asset that's coming in, right? And that's not a good thing, right? We want other assets to be flowing into the ecosystem to create like a healthy kind of economy, right? And this is really important when it comes to fees, right? So if all the fees are in stars, then for operational expenses and for protocol expenses, right, the protocol would have to sell stars, which is not always a good thing, right? So it's really good to earn fees in multiple assets because it just creates a healthier economy. And some of these tokens have, deeper liquidity than stars have. So that's kind of like the main feature here. So we're definitely looking for, other projects, other ecosystems that want to launch their collections on Launchpad and then trade on marketplace in different assets. And I think we can definitely recreate what happened with slots, for example, maybe for AI or some other kind of vertical.
Yeah, and I know some of the other major changes are that the contract's now more of an order book marketplace, and we also have multiple collection offers, so it makes it much easier to provide liquidity and like ladder into different projects or ladder out of them.
Yes, one big change there was the older so V1 was also an order book, on-chain order book. The difference now is that the NFTs are actually escrowed by the marketplace. So this just makes things kind of just a lot kind of safer and simpler, and everything's on chain. With the previous approach, you kind of would run into issues. For example, let's say you made a listing, right? But then after you listed, after you listed your NFT, then you went to transferred it to another chain or something using ICS 721, right? Now that would invalidate that listing. So you run into these kind of weird issues. So that's why it's just a much better model in V2 where, you put something on sale and then it's escrowed by the contract itself. And now all other protocols kind of have access, or all other protocols can be built on top of this because the liquidity is on chain and it's owned by the contract.
Great, thanks. And there are also some UI changes to V2. Bernie, can you talk a little bit about those?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, and hello everyone. Happy anniversary for the third year of Stargaze, which has been kind of cool so far. So yeah, Marketplace V2 launched with a bunch of UI changes as well. We carefully listened to a lot of user wishes and tried to implement them into one big update, which come at a cost of some UI bugs that we had. And I think we tackled most of them already. And I think one of the most notable changes are the marketplace that now shows the pricing in USD, which not everyone has been very fond of so far. But we're working on it and taking account your feedback about it, and try to do some stuff with it. Also, we have now more filters on the marketplace. So instead of showing all collections, you can now filter by either token denomination, like stars, Osmo, Atom, TA, USDC, or mint on a floor price range. For USD value, show verified projects only, or show them by category, like XNFTs, SEC, open edition, or non-open editions. So you can really narrow down your search for collections. And also on the marketplace, you can now see the bottom bar, which has live data indicator. Also shows the stars price, or if you're on a collection that's listed in TIA, it will show you the TIA price and USD value. Also now has the toggle for collector and trader mode, which quickly sets the view to trader mode for if you're more like a person that wants to just look at the art, look at the stats and rarity and all that kind of stuff, and just go for it. And if you're on the trader mode, then you'll see more detailed information about collections, prices, price charts, item activity, and all that sort of stuff. It also remembers your settings. And we also added in the bottom bar the multi-select mode, which has been moved down from another bar down to this toggle. So you can now enable sweep mode whenever you are on the collection page, which is kind of cool. Like some people didn't even know the feature existed for a very long time. Some of you were used to it, but now have to find it in a different place. But yeah, I think I covered most of the changes now.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love having the categories. I believe we'll even have a shitmost category if it's not already there yet. And we do currently still for the projects that are listed in other tokens like Osmo and TIA and USDC. You will still see stars listings from the V1 marketplace. But as those listings expire, you will not be able to make new listings in stars if the creator has chosen to have them listed in other tokens. So I believe there's a total of a maximum of 90 days until they expire. And there may be some other changes on V2 I may have forgotten about. Tasio, I don't know if there's anything else. Technically, I guess listings do not expire on V2, do they?
Not yet. That is something we're adding soon. So you'll be able to set expirations on your orders, but it'll be optional now, where before it was mandatory. It'll be optional going forward, and it's going to work a little differently. Just to get into the technical details, which is maybe something that some of the developers might be interested in. You'll be able to set a bounty on your expiration time. So let's say I want this listing to expire in 3 weeks. You can attach a little bounty onto your listing to ensure that it's removed, in exactly 3 weeks. Of course, this little and then a bot will come along and remove the listing and collect the reward. Of course, this bounty is optional, but it's just something that helps us on the developer side, kind of manage removing of these listings. One problem we had in V1 is that listings would expire, but they would still be on the order book, and that would cause problems with, other integrations we had. So this new mechanic will allow us to kind of remove things efficiently and keep the NFT order book kind of humming along efficient. One more feature I can talk about on the developer side that the community might be interested in is this idea of maker and taker fees. So if you are running bots that interact with the marketplace, you can set what in the smart contract is called the finder address, and that address will receive rewards for sales that happen on their specific listings. So if you set your finder address and you create a listing with a bot, that you'll get a small cut of the protocol fees if a sale does happen on that end. So if anyone is interested in that, come hop in the Discord and we can give you more details. But this is a little mechanic that can incentivize a little more volume on Stargaze and help help kind of more trades happen on the marketplace. So I think those are two good tidbits on the smart contracts.
Awesome, thank you. And with Marketplace V2, we are taking in different tokens, and that means that we're going to rethink the fair burn mechanism. And there is currently a proposal right now to reconsider that. And Brady, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. This proposal was drafted up after a lot of discussion. Also, I recently did like interviews with a bunch of projects on Stargaze, and had some really great insights from those. So just wanted to shout out everyone that spoke to me, and really appreciated that. Um, what we're proposing here is to redirect the stars or the fees from Marketplace, which are currently dispersed to stakers, to the Stargaze core team, as well as replacing the fair burn mechanism with sending it to the stars team and doing quarterly burn and buyback and burn events for that. This it's a pretty detailed proposal, so I really encourage everyone to read it. But I know maybe not everyone has time to read these things closely. But just to go over it briefly, this is really about directing resources to build value for the stars token. When we look at how these rewards are distributed currently, they're sent out, and on top of staking APR, they provide around an additional 1.5% additional APR. We calculated that over like the last 6 months or so. If we take those funds and we concentrate them for development and activity that drives use for the stars token, I think that is something that is kind of a far better bet in terms of building basically value for those people who are staking the token. Myself as like a stars token staker, when I think of that like additional reward versus seeing more like built that drives value for the token, I'm much more interested kind of in the latter. And what does that look like? It looks like accelerating development of things like Astra, which will use stars, more work, sort of bringing new creators to Stargaze. There's a lot of different things we could do with regards to, personally, I'd love to see, for example, maybe some kind of creator incentive fund, something like that to come out of it. And for fair burn, Shane was talking a little bit before about the way the ecosystem worked when it was just stars coming in, versus when we have things listed in other denominations on the marketplace. And fair burn was really cool in the beginning, but as a model, it's kind of suboptimal when you're in an environment where you're accruing fees from all these different denominations. If you think of those being sort of burned at every instance of a transaction, versus the opportunity you might have to hold on to those and strategically do buyback and burns depending on sort of how they all perform and things like that. Like, let's say we accrue a lot of Atom, it trends differently than stars. It might be, better to hold it for a little bit and then do a large chunk burn of stars, for example. We also have to think about like kind of long term. For example, if the platform is accruing USDC, there's periods where like the market is booming, and then there's periods of retraction, right? That's always going to be the case. And when you're in those, we're all looking forward to like a much better market in 2025. But then after that, it'd be nice, for example, to have USDC reserves, to deploy for like the sustainability of the platform, for doing maybe, buyback and burns of the token when it's at a different point compared to USDC and so on. It's kind of like a brief overview. If you look over the proposal, we acknowledge there's something where it's asking stakers to give up something, because there's the current distribution. But as I said, this is something that's kind of spread across a lot. APR after that change is still around like 14.5%, I think. And it ends up being kind of a small amount. But if we're able to take those resources and concentrate them to continue building effective products on Stargaze and driving utility to the token, I think that I'm pretty excited about what we'll be able to do with it. So encourage people to read it. If people have questions or concerns, we've thought a lot about the pros and cons, and there's trade-offs in every system. So happy to have like a discussion about any of that.
Yep. Thanks a lot for getting that all together, Brady. We're excited to get it going. Have a look at the Commonwealth and make any comments there, or now is also a good time to ask anyone to request to speak. If you guys have any questions or comments for anything we've talked about, if you want to say happy birthday, if you have questions about V2, the fees or anything technical, please request to speak or drop your question in the thread below. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the future of Stargaze in the short and midterm and maybe the long-term future. Shane, you want to take that?
Yeah, so I can maybe kind of break it down into more like immediate future and a bit more of the long-term future, although there's, I don't want to share like every single thing right now. A bit more in the immediate future, tiered whitelist. That's something that we're working on. We're going to try and ship that in the next 2 weeks or so. This will kind of bring Launchpad to like parity with kind of every other like Launchpad that's out there, and actually probably even more. Just really give creators flexibility in whitelists. You can have different kinds of whitelists that have different criteria, start and end times and so forth. I know that's something a lot of you have been asking for a while. Burn to mint, also something that people have been asking for a while. So that's also coming more kind of like in the medium term future. And then there's Astra, which is a kind of new Bitcoin focused rollup that we're working on. And the way to think about it is like this is just a different product that most of the like a subset of the team is building, and is going to be focused on what we're calling streaming yield. So basically we're like taking our expertise in UI UX and kind of building the Stargaze suite of like NFT products, and we're kind of like bringing it to Bitcoin and bringing it to DeFi to build like super easy apps that like anyone can use, because DeFi is kind of a complex mess for a lot of kind of normal users, and we want to make these easier. The goal of it will be like, so we're working with Stride, and initially it'll work with Stride assets. So for example, you'll be able to transfer TIA to it and automatically start earning TIA yield in your wallet. You don't have to know what staking is, what restaking is. You don't have to select a validator. You don't even have to know like what Stride is, right? Like all you have to do is just do that transfer. So that's it. Just basically brings kind of liquid staking to its simplest possible form, where all you have to do is just to bridge the asset and then start earning yield. So initially is going to work with the Stride assets, and then it's going to work with Bitcoin as well. And it's I think it's going to be the very first BTC streaming yield product. And another way to kind of think about this is that a common question I get asked is that like, oh, why does Stargaze need a roll up, right? Like does Stargaze not have the block space that it needs to scale and have another roll up, right? The way to think about it is that in this kind of like modular kind of world that we're moving to, what's happening is that right now a blockchain like Stargaze does consensus and execution, right? So execution is when it's running the apps, like running Launchpad or running Marketplace, for example. They're tied to consensus, and it makes them unnecessarily slow, right? So, for example, if you mint, if you buy an NFT, right, you have to wait that 6 seconds for consensus to happen, right? With a rollup, you don't need that, right? Rollups operate at the speed of execution. So Astra is built to be super fast. If you mint an NFT on it, you buy an NFT on it, it happens instantaneously, right? So this really changes the game for UI and UX. It's one of those things that you won't really understand until you actually use it. And then once you use it, everything else will just feel like really slow. So, I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where like, if you use like an iPhone like 14 Pro or something, and then like go back to like, I don't know, like an iPhone 5 or something like that, right? Like, you'll really feel the difference as a normal user. So, if you're on the fence about Astra or confused about it, I'd say just like wait to actually try it out, and then you'll kind of see what I mean by just how much better the UX and UI is when you have stuff running super fast. Because the consensus now will run on Stargaze L1, and execution will be on Astra L2. So that's a little bit more about Astra. There's kind of a lot more things we have planned, but that's just kind of like the initial kind of nuts and bolts of it.
Yeah, great. Everyone I know is looking forward to that. Let's go ahead and take some questions or comments from the community. Puff, welcome.
Hey guys, happy birthday Stargaze. My name is Poof. I'm from Expedition, and I have a couple of words about Stargaze. First of all, guys, happy birthday to everyone, to the Stargaze team, to the everyone listening me. I wish you all the best. And I have a proof that Stargaze building very well. But first of all, a lot of projects are building on Stargaze. For example, Atlas DAO, Crypto and Gopniks with the leasing system, Arc Protocol, Astro, everyone trying to touch Stargaze. That's amazing. We have a lot of influencers. Barto, we have Pleb, we have Kerry, we have Best in Peace, which are trying to inform us every news from Stargaze, and we are working hard trying to make Stargaze better. We have a lot of new artists from 2024 this year. We have Byron, which came us with Hua Hua from Passage and Territory. He's making amazing arts. We have Chris with his comics. That's also like the aim of NFTs. It is show your art, isn't it? And we have a lot of brilliant new projects on Stargaze. We have Underworld, we have Crypto Companions, Crypto Handlers, and a lot of others. Guys, and the main thing about Stargaze is community. We are all from different communities right now are here, and we are showing our power. Guys, 2025, it is a year of Stargaze, and future, our birthday will be amazing. We will be on top, and we will make it together. Thank you, guys, and happy birthday.
Well, thank you very much. Happy birthday to us. Let's hear from Weston.
Yo, happy birthday, everyone. This question is like very minor, especially after Shane going into depth about the Bitcoin and the L2 stuff. But I was just curious, when a project, like, let's say it leaves stars and goes to TIA, how are you guys going to handle the chart? Will the old stars toggle still be there, or will it just be like USD and then the new, currency? Sorry if this was touched on. I might have missed it.
Yeah. So, can you guys hear me? Okay. Yeah. So actually we did a soft launch of V2, and everything was in USD prices, and people gave feedback that they didn't like that. So what we're actually going to do is start showing as much as possible in the native asset. So for example, the floor price will go back to showing in the native asset, but for some categories it doesn't make sense. Like for volume, like it's impossible to show like two different assets, like one number for volume there, right? So for that, we'll like show that in USD. So what we're going to do is revamp the UI to show native assets as much as possible, and then in situations where it's impossible to do it, in those cases, then we'll show it in USD.
I actually didn't hate seeing it in USD. I did hear people were having problems with that, but I'm thinking more specific to like one, like let's say it's TIA, the sloths, like, and I look at the chart in the set. So, I can toggle from stars to USD, like the chart view. I was just wondering, now when you introduce like a third asset, what's going to happen to the stars price history? Will that just kind of phase out, and we'll just be left with like TIA and USD for two chart options?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, it's very niche. It's like a very specific thing.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. The chart, the floor price chart. Yeah, that's a good question. Have we done that yet for any of the collections that are kind of currently on V2? That's in TIA. I think, I mean, it makes sense if there's both to kind of convert that into USD, because then like the toggle wouldn't make sense because, you can't really kind of like normalize like TIA and stars until you, unless you convert it into USD. So my guess is that, collections that have both will end up showing USD, and then collections that maybe like start with one asset will show in that asset. But that's a great question. I will double check with the front end team unless maybe Bernie or Luan has an answer here. Or
Yeah, I think
So, I've seen the ASCII binaries. It's currently displayed with TIA and USD toggle. So I think it's now just a conversion, but you need to double check if it's correct.
Okay, cool. No biggie. And I'm probably slowing up the conversation with this like kind of inconsequential.
Oh no, that's great. That's fine. Yeah, there's no stupid question.
No, that is a good question. And this is also kind of a good opportunity to say that people can also make their own charts if they want to even include both assets, right? You could overlay different tokens as well. Like all of the data should be there in Constellations, the indexer. So it should be relatively straightforward to do it if you have an idea. And you can make custom charts that way. Matic Man, welcome.
Hey, happy birthday to Stargaze. Congrats, Shane, the team. I'm so happy for you and so glad to be a part of this amazing community. Some have said that I am an ambassador for Stargaze. Really, that's true. Not a paid ambassador, but because of my amazing experience with Stargaze and the team and just the care and support we've received from the community, I am an unofficial ambassador for Stargaze now. You have won me over, Stargaze community. Love what's being built here. And at a time when many ecosystems have flooded NFTs, have faded NFTs, have phased out NFTs, Stargaze has made NFTs fun. And so I'm glad to be a part of this great community. Happy birthday, Stargaze.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Matic Man. Also, I've invited Tank up here to talk about NFT Nashville that's taking place this coming Saturday.
Hey, happy birthday, everybody. I'm geeking out, to be very honest with you. Like in anticipation to NFT Nashville that is going to be coming this weekend. Listening to you guys is celebrating the 3rd birthday of Stargaze and all the developments and everything we've been through as a community. It's I don't know, man. I'm kind of geeking out. Like, this is really, really cool. I've always loved being a part of the Stargaze community in general. And then again, just having the opportunity for a second year now and being blessed by the entire team at Stargaze to help, bring this event to light is just, again, I'm actually legit right now, have goosebumps. And it makes me really excited to kind of showcase all the hard work that you guys have all put in as devs and as a team. But not only you guys, but like all the hard work and the dedication and loyalty that the community has shown to the platform for all of these years. It's like, I'm just geeking out, getting the opportunity to represent it and showcase this to the normies that are out there. So yeah, I'm really excited. Thank you for inviting me up here. Really excited to be listening to you guys and celebrating the 3rd birthday of Stargaze. But if you don't mind, since I'm talking about it, I promise you it'll be really short. If you guys are anywhere close to the Middle Tennessee area, we are going to be hosting NFT Nashville here this weekend. We would absolutely love for you guys to stop on by. If it's a short drive, I mean, it's going to be worth it. It's absolutely free. Yes, there are tickets available if you'd like to buy them, because there are going to be some extra benefits like a side event where your drinks are paid and all this other stuff. And you're going to get all these great extra perks like NFTs and shirts and merches and stuff like that for buying a ticket. If you don't want to, though, and you just want to come and spread the word of NFTs and what we've been doing as a community, all you have to do is come stop on by. It's absolutely free. You can walk in. It's a community-driven event where we are driven to educate the normal people that are out there about what we're doing in Web3 via NFTs. And again, we would just love to have you guys with us. I'm super excited to have all of you guys with us again, and with all of our other guests and speakers that we're going to be having there that day. I'm just really geeking out to hear everything that you guys have been doing, Shane and team. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much, and happy birthday.
Thank you, Tank. NFT Nashville will be great. Second annual NFT Nashville. Looking forward to your third birthday next year. Let's hear from Martinez.
Hey, you guys, glad to see you here and want to come to you with great platform for NFT. I'm looking for you, and I'm from Mad Scientist. Everything is experiment. Also, Stargaze is a cool experiment. And I have such a question. As I know and I see a lot of NFT collections and also NFT trend is interchain. I mean, you can move your NFT in any platform or hold it anywhere. So my question is how you see Stargaze in this system when, interchain becomes true and you can move your NFT in any chain, starting from Cosmos ecosystem and ending all EVM systems. I mean, how you see what can do Stargaze, what can it include? How will stars, talk and feel in the incoming interchange system? So this is my question. And one more time, happy birthday! Glad to see you.
Hey, Martinez. Yeah, that's a great question. So, Mad Scientist, was one of the first collections that used interchain NFT transfers, right? So it was minted on Osmosis, and then Osmosis didn't really have a marketplace, so then it people were able to transfer to Stargaze and then, trade on the marketplace app, right? And this is kind of the direction that we're going in. Maybe I'll drop a little bit of alpha here. So one strategy that we're going to be using is we're going to be launching roll-ups of Launchpad, right? Because we think Launchpad is one of the kind of the best NFT Launchpad kind of apps that's out there, and a lot of ecosystems want the provenance of the NFT to be in that ecosystem, right? So this is something that has been suggested by some of the other community members here, including Brady and Zurich from Mad Scientist, where we can launch Launchpad as a rollup in another ecosystem, let's say Nisha, for example. And then after that, transfer that NFT to Stargaze to trade in the marketplace, right? So this kind of marries all the tech together, right? Because it can be minted in the ecosystem where it has the provenance of being minted there, and then it uses interchain NFT transfers, also known as ICS 721, and then transfer that to Stargaze Marketplace. So then you have kind of the best of both worlds. It's kind of like a win-win situation there, and then you can trade the NFT in this really kind of nice environment with like good UI, UX, and so forth, and like a bunch of right, and then you can use all the other features like auctions and like all the the analytics tools and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the plan going forward for that. And an NFT marketplace, especially something like Stargaze, it's not trivial to build, right? There's a lot of components that go into it. It's actually a lot more work than a DeFi protocol because there's a lot of image processing and like music and video stuff to handle, and like indexing and compute at like the edges to like make everything really fast. And image serving and storage and IPFS and all this kind of stuff. And there's plenty of, other projects, within Cosmos and like outside of Cosmos that have tried to build a marketplace like Stargaze has, and they haven't been able to do that so far, right? And I encourage devs to try, but it is quite a bit of work. So I imagine once Launchpad is deployed as outposts in other ecosystems, it'll bring more volume, more activity into the marketplace as people transfer it from these ecosystems into Stargaze for trading, right? And also we're working with Union who's a great partner, and they're working on helping us with Ethereum NFT transfers. They're also going to be deployed on Berachain, so you might even see some Berachain NFTs on Stargaze. So yeah, slowly but surely, we'll be integrating with other ecosystems, and those NFTs will be flowing into Stargaze for trading.
Awesome, thank you. Let's hear from WildDev, one of the very first developers, independent developers from Stargaze.
Hi everyone. Happy birthday, Stargaze. So it's really nice to speak that birthday here. So I was there when we launched the testnet NFT launchpad, and it was a nice story. So we didn't have much the UI stuff to build. We had some nice tools, so we had to follow some coding stuff and to deploy a collection. So then now it's a kind of like a full ecosystem. We have tools, so it's for deploy a collection, do the trading steps and everything. So really happy to see the growth, and yeah, it's kind of a nice journey.
Yeah, you've seen things change a lot. Are you? Is there anything that surprised you, or is there anything that you're working on?
Yeah, so I always can do something new for the Stargaze. So I did some kind of in the early stage, I did some kind of a real time backend FTs, and something new rather than doing just the ordinary NFT collections. But right now we are working on a product called Baptize. So in Baptize, you'll be able to up and run your own debt without writing any codes. And so it's kind of like to the Stargaze Studio, but it will facilitate you to build your own website and grab the minting plugin and set up the collection and do the minting on your own website, right? So rather than going to the launchpad, so you can just create your own website to mint NFTs from the Stargaze chain directly. So right now, testnet integration is almost done. We'll be releasing it within most probably next week for the mainnet as well. So after that, you will be able to. We have planned a lot of things, because personally I know Stargaze is a blockchain dedicated to the NFTs, but there are so many possibilities that we can do, get benefit to the Stargaze ecosystem and for the users as well, right? So we are planning to reduce these technical barriers and building a real nice onboarding tool and infrastructure tool for creators and developers. So these are the plans. So within next week, we will releasing the mainnet minting plugin, and we have a set of steps like a roadmap. So we'll present those things as well. So it's really nice.
Very cool. Yeah, it's exciting. Looking forward to seeing the release.
Yeah, of course. So once again, happy birthday. Nice to talk to you guys. Real exciting. Okay.
Thank you, WildDev. All right, guys. Do we have any more questions or comments? Anyone want to pop up and tell us what they're working on?
There's got to be a few more people.
We got a lot of people in here.
Yeah, I see so many in the crowd, though. So many people, so many familiar faces.
Jacob, welcome. You're up here. Jacob, are you? Jacob. Let's hear from Elements of Cosmos.
Happy birthday, guys. Shane and Stargaze. Wish you all the best from Elements of Cosmos. And I don't know if you have noticed, Turkey is also celebrating their birthday today. Just want to mention it. Wish you all the best, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And it looks like we have Sandra here as well. I think she's still connecting. Welcome, Sandra.
Hi. I just wanted to say happy birthday to Stargaze. And I just also wanted to sing the praises of the community. Every single person that I have met here in the last year have been incredibly kind, super talented, and always go above and beyond. And I really appreciate that within a community, especially as a creative. You know, sometimes we just feel kind of left up to dry. So happy birthday, and I can't wait to see all the new things that are coming to Stargaze, all the new creatives and artists as well. So yeah.
Thanks a lot, Sandra. And for those unaware, Sandra does have a piece currently minting on the front page as part of the Halloween drop. It's a beautiful open edition. And let's hear from Daniel. Welcome, Daniel.
Hey everyone, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can.
Oh, sure. Thank you. No, I just wanted to say thank you to your Stargaze, to this amazing community, and a big happy birthday. I think like that Stargaze for me has been like a great wow space just to be an artist, because me as a traditional artist, I was kind of worried and worried because of the traditional way to do art. I think it is just always almost the same. But when I just discovered Stargaze and the Web3, I think it just blew my mind. So the Stargaze, the community, the people, the talent, I think it is something so powerful and super nice. So I'm really proud of being part of this huge community. And I really want to say thank you to Brady, to all his team, to my dear friend Aura, and all the holders and collectors that are here that are collecting my art and the art of many artists, talented artists here. Yeah, thank you so much, because wow, I think the opportunity that you are just giving us, like to us, like an artist, is something that I have not found anywhere else, like in the traditional environment for artists. So I think this is like one of the greatest discoveries that I have ever had, like as an artist, you know. But yeah, thank you. Congratulations to all the work team of Stargaze, the curators, developers, holders, every one of you. You are the best people in the world. Thank you, and happy birthday again.
Thank you very much, Daniel, for choosing Stargaze and deploying amazing art on here. Daniel also has a piece minting, Skin Archive number 2. It is a very nice, it's a very beautiful, intricate piece. Aura, you're...
Hello everyone, I am happy to stay here and wish Stargaze a happy birthday. It's an amazing community that I find here, and I am very grateful with the developers, the holders, all the artists. More than a business or something like this, I find a lot of friends. I am very happy to stay here. It's my first year in the community as an artist, as collector, and thank you so much. I hope